Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden reminding you it's the beginning of another week, and this means you have 7 more days inside of which you can fire your MD. And it will be the best thing you ever did for your relationship to your health is just get rid of the knuckleheads. Ask yourself how much bang from your medical insurance buck you have received over the course of your life. I mean, how good has that investment been? Like Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? How's that going? How's it going? How much money have you spent? Figure it out. Get out your calculator. Do you know how much you're spending a month for medical insurance? Do the numbers. Multiply that by 12 and then multiply that by the number of years that you've had it. It's really that simple. And then look to see what you've gotten for it. You've gotten prescription medications for your high blood pressure, which cause type 2 diabetes after you've been taking it for 5 years. That's hydrochlorothiazide. You've gotten prescription medicine for a non-medical condition, menopause, the leading side effect of which is breast cancer and ovarian cancer. That's Premarin. You've gotten the pain medication, Enbrel, which the leading side effect of was, well, death. You've gotten Prilosec to manage your heartburn. You've gotten pain medication to manage the arthritis in the knee. You've gotten insulin to manage the type 1 or the type 2 diabetes. And by the way, every couple of years the insulin dose needs to be increased, and the MDs just shrug their shoulders and say, oh, that's life. It's only a matter of time until we have to cut your toes off, cut your feet off, cut your fingers off, cut your legs off, cut your hands off. It's only a matter of time until you go blind as a side effect of the insulin that we're giving you for the diabetes. And this is what you're investing in with medical insurance every month. This is what you're getting for your hard-earned dollars. Are you kidding me? It's a fool's errand. Medical insurance is a fool's errand. It is a fool's errand. And for heaven's sake, if you live in Canada, you know, they take it out of, they tax you for it. They tax you. They take it, you know, you got to pay. It's part of your taxes because it's socialized medicine up there. So they take a chunk every year out of your hard-earned money to give you access to this nonsense. Wouldn't that be great? For goodness sake, if they did that to support your business, wouldn't that be great if the government made it mandatory for everybody in your country to give you money for your business every year? Wouldn't that be great? Well, that's how it is for the doctors. That's how it is for the insurance companies. That's how it is for the medical industry. You know, as we're marching towards December 21st, 2012, you know, maybe the thing that's going to happen here is we're all collectively going to snap out of it all at once. And everybody's going to wake up on December 22nd, 2012, and realize that the MD is just another person. There's nothing special about your MD, folks. They're not more, you know, intellectually astute than you are. They're just another person, full of foibles, full of trouble, full of faults, full of mistakes. There's nothing special about the MD, and you should question them. You should get into the habit of politely questioning your MD. Oh, really, doctor? You tell me that my condition is genetic? Well, which gene is it? Oh, really, doctor? You're telling me that my body is not going to be able to heal itself from this? Well, you don't think my body can heal itself from anything, as is evidenced by the newest Nobel Prize. Cloning and stem cell discoveries earned the Nobel Prize in medicine. They just gave the Nobel Prize of medicine to a guy from Japan and a guy from England for their work with stem cells. And stem cells are cells. It's a little complicated, the whole thing about stem cells, but basically, as your body is growing from an embryo into the magnificent manifestation of you, everything has to start somewhere, right? So your heart grows from these little things called stem cells. Your liver grows from these little things called stem cells. Your eyes and your brain and everything in the body grows from these little things called stem cells. And then, of course, underlying the stem cells is the chromosomal material and your genetic makeup. And, of course, informing your genetic makeup is your spirit. Your spirit, the living spirit inside of you, which medicine completely overlooks and denies. It's not your genetic code that makes you who you are. It's the animated spiritual presence inside of your body which gives energy and life force to your genetic code. A dead person has genetic code in them. Why have their body stopped regenerating itself? Why has their body stopped working? It has all the same biochemicals and all of the same chromosomes and all of the same DNA that a live person does, so why doesn't it work? Because Elvis has left the building. The life force has left the body. It's the life force that stimulates everything to happen. But MDs completely overlook this. They've thrown, effectively, the baby out with the bathwater. So instead of dialing it all the way back to the beginning, they stop short of getting into the metaphysical zone, and they, all the focus now is on stem cells. So they're trying to generate stem cells, which then they're going to inject into your body and keep their fingers crossed, and maybe your body will grow another pancreas. That would actually be a good thing. Maybe your body will regenerate nerves that have been severed in an automobile accident. That would be a good thing. The ultimate end game of stem cells is brilliant and effective as long as you don't have to kill fetuses to get them, right? Right. We're all in agreement about that. And the Nobel Prize they gave to the Japanese guy because he figured out a way to make normal cells go backwards in time to become stem cells. So you don't have to get stem cells from discarded embryos or discarded fetuses anymore, right? You can just make stem cells from any cell in the body. It's a pretty remarkable breakthrough, quite frankly. But let's put this in perspective, right? So let's say that you have bad knees. Or let's say you have a bad heart. You've got a bad heart. This will be a better metaphor. You have a bad heart. You've got clogged arteries in your heart, and your heart's all funky. Your heart's enlarged. Your heart's not beating correctly. Because the heart got enlarged, the valves don't close properly, and now you've got congestive heart failure, and it's a problem every day. You've got to be on a boatload of medicines. You don't really, but that's what the MDs tell you to do. And you're in trouble. So now they come along with the heart stem cell, and they inject the stem cells into your heart, and voila, 12 months later, you've grown a new heart. Well, hey, that's pretty great, but, and by the way, the ability to be able to do that is decades away, if not centuries away, okay? But this is the goal of stem cell research, and all research has to start somewhere, right? And again, what the MDs do is they make big promises about the future. Oh, the next cancer cure is right around the corner. Oh, the next stem cell breakthrough is right around the corner. We're all going to be growing new livers for Christmas, right? Yeah, well, I don't think so. But even once we are able to do that, once we're able to do that, this completely overlooks the fundamental notion that the reason that the original heart went bad in the first place wasn't because of a bad gene, wasn't because of a voodoo curse, wasn't because, you lived on the 47th parallel or your physical location on the planet Earth, wasn't because of your exposure to pesticides. The reason that your heart went bad in the first place was because you were eating all the wrong foods all the time, unwittingly. It's your doctor's fault. And your heart was starved for nutrition. Your heart ran out of the raw materials that it needed to keep itself healthy. Your heart ran out of heart-healthy nutrients. So when your car runs out of automobile fluid, oil, the engine seizes. When you run out of transmission fluid, the engine seizes. When you run out of power steering fluid, you can't turn the wheel, and so forth and so on. Well, it's the same with your heart, or your liver, or your kidneys, or your spine, or any part of your body. When your body runs out of the nutrients that it needs to maintain its health, that organ starts to break down. So once the stem cell thing is perfected, what's going to happen? They're going to help you grow a new liver, and then 2 years from now, that liver that you grew is going to be just as bad as the first one because you're still polluting your body with all the wrong foods, and you're still not nutrifying your body. You're not giving it the right stuff to keep the new liver that you grew with the stem cell healthy, so you're right back into the same boat. And this is the ultimate end road of reductionistic nonsense, and your MD is trained in a philosophy of a medical viewpoint called reductionism. And this is how reductionism goes. Reductionism has no time for nutrition at all. They have no training. Reductionists have no appreciation, no respect for nutrition at all. It is not inside of their medical therapeutic. Nutrition is an afterthought. It's secondary or tertiary. It is not primary. They never think about it. Not in the clinical setting in any event. They'll think about nutrification when they're growing cancer cells in a petri dish because they have to be completely nutrified or they die. But they don't think about it with you. And, you know, this whole thing about stem cells, it's kind of ironic to me because once you do perfect the stem cell and you inject it into the body and the body attempts to grow, you know, a new kidney or a new gallbladder or whatever, well, can the body just make stuff out of nothing? Can the body just magically create calcium? Can the body just magically create vitamin B1? Can the body just magically create the amino acid tyrosine or tryptophan? Can the body just magically create selenium and zinc? No. If those things are not present, as the stem cell is calling on the body to generate new tissue, if the body doesn't have the raw materials to generate the new tissue, it's not going to generate the new tissue, or the new tissue that it generates is going to be weak and poor and debilitated and horrible. But of course, medical nutrition has no, they don't think about it. And this is the greatest irony. The greatest irony is that we lean on the Machiavellian ministers of mediocrity, the MD. The Machiavellian ministers of medical mediocrity, the MD. We lean on them for everything when all that we should lean on them for is trauma recovery and trauma care. That's their domain. That's what they're good at. For everything else, it's a ridiculous reductionistic road that always promises stuff that's always in the future. It promises stuff in the future. Meanwhile, we're dropping like flies. Oh, we're going to have the arthritis stem cell in 50 years. Aren't you excited? Well, no, I'm not, because we have science-based, clinically verified solutions today to support and promote the health of your joints, to support and promote the health of your blood sugar, to support and promote the health of your body. Ladies and gentlemen, stop leaning on the future. Lean on the present. Fire your MD now. Talking to Robert, who's calling up about a problem with his leg. Robert, thanks for calling. You are live. Robert, where'd you go? Is Robert there? Maybe Robert's not there. Is anybody there? How about Richard calling with a question about prostate cancer? Richard, you are live.
Yes, Dr. Glidden, I was recently diagnosed with prostate cancer with a Gleason score of 7 and a PSA score of 3.2, and I'm scheduled for a robotic surgery on the 13th of November, and I'm just calling in to see if you would recommend an alternative treatment for this.
Well, number one, it's illegal. Alternative treatments for cancer are illegal. You get that? Nobody in this country can treat cancer except an oncologist. It's illegal. You can't do it. Yeah, I want you to think about that for long and hard. What you need to do is research, do a Google search for European prostate treatments, and you will find that in the countries of Europe, they do surgical procedure for prostate cancer like 75% less than we do in the United States. Because they've determined, and rightly so, that for most types of prostate cancer, watchful waiting is much better than any type of radical prostatectomy. Why? Because radical prostatectomies are often accompanied by just bad symptoms, incontinence, pain, trouble. The surgery doesn't just magically fix everything, and there are often complications from it, infections, right, death, right? So sometimes surgery is recommended, sometimes surgery is necessary, but when it comes to prostate cancer with a low Gleason score like this and a low PSA like this, I would not, if you were my patient in a state that I was licensed to practice naturopathic medicine in, I would recommend that you do not have surgery, because you can never unsurgery something, right? You can never unsurgery something. Now, in order to support and promote the health of your body, in the face of a diagnosis of prostate cancer, here's what I would do. How much do you weigh?
225.
How tall are you?
5'9.5".
Yeah. So what are you, about 40 pounds overweight?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So that's your doctor's fault, by the way, Richard. It's not your fault. Everybody thinks that, you know, they've got a bad gene. Everybody thinks that, oh, I'm lazy. Everybody thinks that, you know, I just don't have enough discipline. And you're wrong. The only reason that you're overweight is because you have the wrong doctor. Helping somebody maintain a healthy body weight is easier than falling off a potato truck. The only reason that people gain weight is because they eat too many calories. The only reason people eat too many calories is because their bodies are nutritionally starved. And when your body is nutritionally starved, it will force you to eat too much in the desperate attempt to fill up its nutritional tank. But the food that you're eating does not have the nutrients that your body needs. So you eat and you eat and you eat and you eat, and 2 hours later, guess what? You are hungry again. So you eat and you eat and you eat, and then your doctor tells you you're lazy, or your doctor tells you, hey, your stomach is too big, we got to cut your stomach out. Well, nonsense. The only reason that you're overweight is you have the wrong doctor. When you put the nutrients back in your body's tank, you gain and maintain a normal body weight. It's easy. Now, when it comes to supporting and promoting the health of your body in the face of a diagnosis of prostate cancer, here's what I would recommend that you do for 6 months. One anti-aging healthy, well, you're at 225, so it would be 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules, and 10 bottles a month of something called Z-Radical. If you can't afford 10, get 9. If you can't afford 9, get 8, and so forth and so on. Plus, eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet. We're talking with Richard, who's been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and the MDs want to cut it out. And I recommended that he get a second opinion and that he start to educate himself about what they do in Europe for prostate cancer, because it is remarkably, radically different than what they do in the United States. Because in the United States, medicine is a for-profit medical system, and in Europe it is not so much. So they're less likely to do things that they don't need to do in Europe than they are in the United States. And these differences stand out in bold face when it comes to the European treatment strategies for prostate cancer as opposed to the United States treatment strategies for prostate cancer. Now, one more thing, Richard, that I would recommend that you do, and this is shameless self-promotion here, okay? I wrote a book. It's called The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. It's available on my website. It's available as an ebook for $10. You can buy it right now and be reading it in 20 minutes. If you just go to my website, fireyourmdnow.com, and just follow the links for the book. It'll take you right to Amazon.com where you can purchase the ebook, or the paperback, whatever floats your boat. But the reason that I mention it is I have a short little chapter in there about cancer, and in that chapter on cancer, I have 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist. There are 10 questions that every cancer patient needs to ask their oncologist. And if you, spend $10 and get the book and read it, you'll get knowledge, number one. But number two, you'll also get the 10 questions that you need to ask your oncologist. And the next time you visit your oncologist, sit him or her down and just run through these questions. And when you run through these questions, you will have a much clearer understanding of what they're about as people and about as medical doctors. Because most people do not ask or question what the doctor says. They just do what the doctor says. Most people feel intimidated by the MD. Most people feel intimidated just walking into a hospital, for goodness sake. It's kind of the same feeling that you get if you're when a cop pulls you over. You just feel intimidated. Well, it's the same thing. Don't feel intimidated. This is your life, not theirs. They're making the money. You're not. They're taking the money from you. They're putting it in their pockets. So the relationship that you have with your MD is no different than the relationship that you have with your accountant or the guy that sells you your coffee at Starbucks. Whatever. It's just a business relationship. It's nothing more than that. And when you ask an oncologist these 10 questions, you will be enlightened and you will know in your gut what to do. So, again, treating cancer is illegal in the United States unless you're an oncologist. If I had a diagnosis of prostate cancer, what I would do to support and promote the health of my body in the face of a diagnosis of prostate cancer while I was deciding on, whether to do surgery or not, and I wouldn't get surgery, it would be you're 225 pounds. So it would be 2 anti-aging healthy start packs, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules, and 10 bottles of Z-Radical. 10 bottles of Z-Radical. Again, if you can't afford 10, get 9. If you can't afford 9, get 8. If you can only afford 1, get 1. And that's how I would move forward in this arena. Now, we always do 2 things here, Richard. We give the body the nutrients that it needs, and then we stop eating food that's hurting the body. And the easiest way and the cheapest way, because it's free to get the bad food list, is to go to fireyourmdnow.com and log into right there on the front page of the website. You can opt in for my free email newsletter. Just give me your name and your email address, hit submit, and then my system automatically sends you a link for a page on my website that has the good food, bad food document on it and a little video that I produce that explains why. So, and that's free. And so if you eliminate those 10 foods from your diet immediately and take these nutritional supplements, personally, I would wait for 6 months before I made a move in any direction. Do this program, wait 6 months, and in that 6-month period, ask your MD these 10 questions and find out for yourself what they do in Europe that's different than what they do in the United States. And I know that's a kind of a long-winded answer, but it's cancer, and we really need to belly up to the bar here in the United States. By the way, had you been taking 200 micrograms of selenium your entire life, selenium is it's a mineral supplement. It's cheaper than dirt, for goodness sake. Had you been taking selenium your entire life, selenium all by itself, no other nutrients, just selenium all by itself reduces the occurrence of prostate cancer by 69%. 69%. That, those are good odds. I'll take those odds in Vegas any day of the week. So there's stuff that you can do here to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself that's been science-based and clinically verified. And, it's illegal to treat cancer in the United States unless you're an oncologist, so go figure. Best of luck, Richard. Try it on for size. See what happens. Knowledge is power. Educate yourself. And give me a call back in a couple months. Tell me what you decided to do and tell me what happened. Going to Odell next. This must be Cancer Day because Odell's calling with a question about leukemia. Odell, you are live with Dr. Glidden.
Oh, how you doing, Dr. Glidden?
Oh, I'm all right. What's happening?
I'm calling to follow up. My daughter had, I think it was ALL leukemia, and she got an infection, which I think she got from the hospitals. But once she got out, I was wanting to talk about some of the symptoms I've seen with her, or some things I've seen with her.
So what did they do for the leukemia? Did they do chemo?
They did chemo and they did the bone marrow transplant too, and they didn't quite work. Neither one of them.
So they didn't work. Did you get your money back?
No, not yet. I mean, that just happened a few weeks ago.
Well, you're not going to get your money back. So you're not going to get your money back. That's not how they operate. And, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, right here in boldface. You're diagnosed with leukemia. You go to the MD. The MD tells you to do this treatment. Oh, it's the only treatment that there is. It's the only thing that we have for you. You have to do this. If you don't do this, you're going to die, for goodness sake. And then they do it. It's expensive. It's painful. It's dangerous. It hurts you, and it doesn't work. And then the MD gets up the next day, dusts himself off, and goes right back to work. I honest to God don't know how these people sleep at night delivering unbelievably expensive, unbelievably dangerous, and ineffective treatments. Not only do they deliver them to us, they force them down our throats. And we don't bat a freaking eyelash. If it were me, I would go back to the doctor's office. I'd bring a lawyer and say, I want my damn money back. You know, this therapy didn't work. You promised me the moon, and you delivered me a hunk of dirt. I want my darn money back. That's what I would do. That's probably going to cause more problems than it's going to fix. But in any event. So what symptoms is she bothered by right now, Odell?
They put her on morphine because she had like a joint pain, like a kind of a bad joint pains. And
yeah, that's from the bone marrow transplant and the chemotherapy. Did she have that before she went in?
Before they started doing the bone marrow, no.
So she didn't have any of these problems. So now they're creating problems that they're recommending she take morphine for. Or isn't that just great?
Right.
All right.
They put her on a morphine machine, a little machine where she has to press it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it, man. All right. What else does she have?
And she got home. We noticed her hair started falling out. And
well, you know, that's a chemotherapy side effect, right?
Yeah, which is strange because, you know, she supposedly hasn't taken it for a few weeks that I know of.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter because how that stuff works is it's insidious. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever had any experience with fumigation or with, trying to kill bugs in and around your house. Some of the stuff that they use doesn't really start to work for 7 or 14 days. So you take it, or, you administer it in your house, and then you got to wait 14 days until the little bugs start to die, right? So there's a delay often in the net negative side effects generated by chemotherapy. And that's what's happening to her. These are all side effects of the treatment, Odell. These are all side effects of the treatment. What else does she have, man? Her hair is falling out. She's got joint pain. What else does she have?
She has kind of like a yellowish eyes, too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, she's yellowish eyes. She's got cirrhosis. She's got a jaundice. They messed her liver up. The chemotherapy messed her liver up. You want to see if one of the side effects of the chemotherapy that they gave was liver damage. Now, this particular condition is called jaundice, J-A-U-N-D like David, I-C-E. Just do a little Google search for the drug that they gave her, the chemotherapy drug, and see if liver damage and or jaundice is a side effect. So look, again, we cannot treat cancer. We cannot treat leukemia. We cannot treat prostate cancer. It's illegal. And, it's ironic because the people that can treat it kill people. The people that can treat it hurt people. And they still have a job, and they still get paid. And everybody looks at me, and everybody in my profession as a back-of-the-bus dangerous quack. You got to be kidding me. We'll line up for the chemotherapy that kills us. And, then when it doesn't work, what? Nothing happens. So they get a pass. We give the MD the pass. Everybody in our family gives the MD a pass. Oh, they did such a good job. They really tried. Well, no, they didn't. They hurt your daughter. They hurt her. They hurt her. Get a lawyer, for goodness sake. I don't know, man. Really, what I would do here in order to help your daughter, at the situation that she's in now, and this is not a cancer treatment, this is a treatment to support and promote her health post-chemotherapy, post-bone marrow transplant. How much does she weigh, Odell?
Well, she weighs about 99 pounds.
All right, here we go, brother. 1 anti-aging healthy start pack per month. 4 bottles of Cherry Mints a month. 4 bottles of Cherry Mints a month. 4 bottles of Cherry Mints a month. And 4 bottles of Z-Radical a month. 4 bottles of Z-Radical, 4 bottles of Cherry Mints, 1 anti-aging healthy start pack, and 2 bottles of selenium. That's what I would do. And, if you can't afford that, do the healthy start pack, the selenium. Do 1 healthy start pack, 1 selenium, and at least 1 Z-Radical. She needs the Z-Radical. That would be the minimum program. The healthy start pack, the selenium, and the Z-Radical. The Z-Radical is a liquid. Most of the stuff in the healthy start pack is liquids. Selenium's a little eeny-weeny teeny capsule. It's very easy to swallow. This should help her start to come back. And you can also get the CM cream, like Charlie Michael, CM cream, and apply it topically to wherever she is experiencing pain, because the CM cream may help
to knock down the pain a little bit so she doesn't need as much morphine. And for goodness sake, Odell, you really need to take a look at what they've done here. You really need to take a look at what's going on, and you need to put blame where blame is due. And, you know, in the worst possible scenario, you should call your doctor up and have a conversation. You know, take pictures of your daughter and send it to him and say, look, this is what your therapeutics did. You're fired. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, encouraging you and Odell and everybody else in this world to fire your MD now. Let this be a cautionary tale, ladies and gentlemen. Leukemia, prostate cancer, breast cancer, 780,000 people a year killed because they went to their MD. 550,000 people a year die from cancer. $600 billion of cancer research, and we get squat from it. Look, it's time you learned how to take back your health. It's time you learned how to take back your health, because it's getting bad. We're going from the frying pan into the fire here, both in Canada and the United States, and quite frankly, all industrialized nations all around the world, because you cannot fix nutrient deficiencies with drugs. You just can't. And not only are you not going to fix anything with the drug, you're going to make things worse, because the drug is going to accelerate nutrient deficiencies as your body metabolizes the drug. For goodness sake, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night, tick-tock, it's on the clock. Mark your calendars now. Tomorrow night, it is the last free Take Back Your Health webinar that I'm going to give in the month of October. We give at least one free Take Back Your Health webinar every month, and it's tomorrow night. 8 o'clock Central Time. Just go to drglidden.com or fireyourmdnow.com. It's the same website, fireyourmdnow.com. And right there on the front page, you'll see the little box that says Tuesday night's webinar. Take Back Your Health with Dr. Glidden. Just click on it tomorrow night, a little before 8 o'clock Central Time. And then follow the prompts. Use the checkbox. Click on the checkbox that says log in as a guest. Enter your name and tell me where you're from. You know, Bob from Chicago or Edna from Grand Rapids or whatever. So we get a sense of who in the webinar room, where you live. We'd like to get a sense of that. I had someone in the webinar this morning from England. We had people on last week's webinar from South Korea and from Australia, from all over Canada, all across the United States, Central America. I mean, this is worldwide, and it's a lot of fun, and it's free. Tomorrow night, it's free. Take Back Your Health with Dr. Glidden. Tell your friends. Tell your family members. Tell people on your life who you would like to introduce this message to. You know, those people who think they're skeptics, but they're really not. Because if they really were skeptics, they never would have taken the drugs. You know who I'm talking about. Probably somebody in your family, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm skeptical about those vitamins, but give me that rat poison. Oh, I'm skeptical about that holistic stuff, but give me that chemotherapy. Give me that radiation. Oh, now I need morphine. Oh, the doctor's still the greatest person in the world. Give me a break. The intention of tomorrow night's webinar is to show you and the people in your life who are on the fence what we're up to. I line it all up and let you knock it down. We're not selling anything on the webinars. All we do is show you what we're up to. And then you and your guests and whoever else is on the webinar can choose for themselves what they want to do. Choose for themselves whether they'd like to engage in this process of health recovery through science-based medical nutrition or continue to suffer and die at the hands of the MDs. It's a free country. You can do whatever you want, but like the fella said, you don't know what you don't know. And when it comes to health and healing, the stuff that you don't know is massive. There is massive amounts of this stuff. And this is what we talk about on the webinars. This is the intention of the webinar, is to create a eureka moment, to create an aha moment, to create a breakthrough moment for everybody that attends. I want everybody that attends this webinar tomorrow night to leave the webinar having had an aha moment about something about their health or something about medicine that was so far outside of the box that they didn't even know they didn't know that. So that's free, ladies and gentlemen. It's free. It only happens once a month, and it's tomorrow night. 8 o'clock Central Time. Check it out at fireyourmdnow.com. Right there on the front page. Take Back Your Health, free webinar tomorrow night, Tuesday night, with Dr. Glidden. I'll look forward to seeing you there on the wonderful World Wide Web. I'll be reminding everybody about it in tomorrow's radio show. Tomorrow's radio show, I hope to have a special guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you're going to love it once they show up. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. This is Fire Your MD Now. Check me out on the World Wide Web, fireyourmdnow.com. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, as I do every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Genesis Communications Network. Until we meet again, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Over and out.